magnifying glass of the mind. What you focus on grows, and how practice changes your brain. It began on a quiet afternoon, the kind where the house felt warm and peaceful, and the only sound was pencils scratching lightly on paper. Vivian was working on a maze in her workbook. She pressed the pencil so hard the tip almost snapped. "I can't find the path," she muttered, shoulders tight. "It feels like the maze is getting bigger and bigger." Mom turned from the counter. "Show me where you're stuck." Vivian pointed at the middle. "This part. It's like my brain zooms in and everything else disappears." Just then, Vincent plopped into the chair beside her, toy car in hand. "Dad," he said, spinning a wheel, "my car keeps making this tiny clicking noise, but when I listen, it sounds super loud." He demonstrated, frowning dramatically. I smiled gently. That happens to everyone. Our minds work like a magnifying glass. Whatever we focus on, even a tiny thing, can feel enormous. Vivian blinked. "So I'm making the maze bigger in my head?" Vincent nodded vigorously. "And I made the clicky noise sound like a monster." Mom laughed softly. "That's exactly how your mind works. It zooms in on whatever you're paying attention to." Vivian looked at her maze again, finally understanding the first piece of the puzzle. The road inside your brain, connecting focus to growth. Later, after a snack break, we went outside to rest our minds a little. The air was cool, carrying the smell of damp leaves. Vivian walked beside me with her hands tucked into her hoodie pockets. Vincent kicked a small rock ahead of him, racing it toward the backyard. Vivian said quietly, "Dad, if my mind zooms in on the wrong thing, how do I make it stop?" "That's where practice comes in," I said. "Every time you try something, really try, your brain builds a little path." I crouched down and drew a faint line in the dirt with a stick. At first, the path is tiny, hard to see, easy to forget. But when you practice again, just a little, your brain deepens the path. I ran the stick along the same line again, making it clearer. Mom knelt beside us, and eventually the path becomes so strong your mind knows exactly where to go. Vincent dropped beside us, watching intently. "So, if I practice kicking my soccer ball, I make a soccer path?" "Yes," I said, "and when Vivian practices clearing her mind and noticing tiny parts of the maze instead of the whole thing at once, she makes a maze-solving path." Vivian's eyes softened in realization. "So my brain only feels stuck because it's still building the kind that means her frustration was loosening its grip. So instead of staring at the hard part, she said, I should look for the next tiny step, the next clue, the next little turn. I smiled. That's exactly right. When you change what you focus on, you change the path your brain grows. The tiny clue that changes everything. Seeing the small things clearly. We walked a little farther into the yard. The world felt calmer now, quieter in her mind. Then Vincent suddenly gasped. Look, a ladybug. He knelt beside a blade of grass where a tiny orange-red ladybug was climbing slowly upward. Vivian crouched beside him. It's so small, she whispered. But when you pay attention, Vincent said proudly, it feels really big. And that was the moment, the exact moment, when everything clicked together for her. Vivian stared at the ladybug, noticing the pattern of its spots, the tiny movement of its legs, the gentle wobble of each step. It's beautiful, she said, and I wouldn't have seen any of it if I kept thinking about the maze. Mom smiled. That's the power of noticing. When you calm your mind and look closely, you see all the hidden clues. I leaned closer, and that's what the maze needs too. The tiny steps, the hints, the small turns. Vivian looked up, eyes bright. So the ladybug is like practice for my mind? In a way, I said. It teaches you to notice the little things instead of rushing through the big thing. Vincent nodded. And to not freak out about tiny problems that grow big in your head. Vivian laughed. Yeah, like your clicky wheel. He crossed his arms, pretending to be offended. It sounded huge, okay? We all laughed together. Then Vivian stood up with a new kind of confidence. The quiet kind. The steady kind. I'm ready to try the maze again, she said. I'll look for the little parts first, the tiny clues, the next step, just like the ladybug. Mom wrapped an arm around her, and that's how you grow the right path in your mind. I nodded, and that's how you use the magnifying glass of your thoughts, not to make problems bigger, but to make understanding clearer. Vivian smiled. The frustration from earlier washed away, replaced by something stronger, a calm mind, a clearer path, and a new way of seeing. Reflection. Sometimes a small thought can grow into something much bigger when you give it too much attention. A calm mind helps you notice what truly matters instead of letting worry take over. Focusing on one tiny step at a time makes makes challenges feel less overwhelming. Practice strengthens the parts of your mind that help you stay steady. You can choose what to pay attention to, and that choice shapes your inner world. Questions to ask yourself. 1. What small thought have I been focusing on that feels bigger than it really is? 2. What tiny step can I look for when a problem feels overwhelming? 3. How does practicing something change the way my mind feels about it? 4. When was the last time I noticed something small that made me feel calm? 5. How can I choose a better focus when my mind zooms in on the wrong thing?